Merry Christmas, everybody. We at Team Starlight over here have gifted you a brand new, never before seen deck that I've been messing around with on the Edison ladder. I have some duels of it afterwards, but let me just first show what it is because it's really, really jank. So shout out Zuxid, he doesn't make videos as much anymore. So this is me giving you guys essentially a jank video at the end of the year. So, this is Cyber Archfiend Control. If you don't know what Cyber Archfiend does, it's that if you have no cards in your hand at the beginning of the draw phase, you can draw a card. And then if you have a card in your hand at the end phase, it dies. So our goal in this deck is to abuse that effect to get as much advantage as quickly as possible and eventually just out-tempo your opponent. But when I was making this deck, I first was like actually making an Infernity deck because I realized it would pair with Infinities, and I realized the worst part about that deck was the Infinities and the best part was this guy. So I was just trying to find other cards that would synergize with it, and I ended up stumbling upon none other than the Agent of Wisdom Mercury.
Everybody knows that guy.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Yeah, exactly, right? This is the other agent. There's so many famous agents. The worst agent by far. But the agent has a very identical effect to Cyber Archfiend. Its effect says that during your standby phase, if you controlled this face-up card at your opponent's end phase and you had no cards in your hand, draw a card. So basically, if this guy was on the field during your opponent's turn when you had no cards in hand, it doesn't matter if you draw cards in your draw phase or extra cards, you'll draw a card in that standby phase. So what ends up happening is you'll have a field of both Cyber Archfiend and the Angel of Wisdom, and you'll just draw 2 extra cards in the beginning of that turn. So then you're wondering, okay, but this guy has 0 attack, and this guy has 1,000 attack. Like, what's the goal here? It's like you're not going to beat anything with this really, really weak monsters. That's where the rest of the traps and spells come in. So we'll get there in a second. I also run a Summoner Monk. We run 11 spells in this version, and getting these guys is kind of the goal, and it gets any of them. Otherwise, like, you could substitute this with Mystic Tomato. I've tried Mystic Tomato. That's not the worst. I've tried Sangan. It's also not the worst. A lot of different options you can run. I think Sangan's probably the best option, but this is just one I really ended up enjoying a lot because it got us to our main guys as fast as possible. Then we also run Plague Spreader and Gale. Gale just converts into really strong monsters that you can just out a lot of stuff with. And Plague allows for you actually to control your hand size as well, so these guys' effects can still resolve and this guy doesn't die. So that's the main monster lineup. It's very, very small. Monsters clogging your hand is its only true weakness that this deck has, as well as, you know, just being just a general control deck that can get outed by like heavy storms and stuff. But because we run a ton of different things, like it actually feels like it can hold its own against a lot of decks. And you'll see it later in the replays. I have a couple really cool replays that we're going to show you. So one of the cool parts about this deck is that you need to always be able to activate cards on the spot. So it's one of the few decks in the format that can run Forbidden Chalice. And Forbidden Chalice is in this deck because every single card here gets under bottomless. You have Starlight Roads that can deal with Mirror Forces, Torrentials and stuff. Solemn Judgments as well, Dark Bribe that comes up. This is a control deck. You're going to run Solemn and Dark Bribe and Starlight Roads. But the only thing you really can't deal with are Raikos and D-Prisons. D-Prisons you can kind of get around by just not attacking, but Raikos are pretty frustrating. This allows you to deal with Raiko. You can activate Forbidden Chalice in damage step. And it also acts as a really cool battle trick that does come up a decent amount, that makes these guys even bigger. And there's other, and you know, I might as well talk about it now. This is the elephant in the room. I found that both of these cards, this guy has 0 attack, this guy has 1,000 attack. They both have big ass booties though. Cyber Archfiend has 2,000 defense. Angel of Wisdom has 1,700 defense. The card that ties this whole deck together and actually gives you on-board presence, it actually gives you the ability to start actually being a control deck, is Inverse Universe. So Inverse Universe's effect is that when you activate it, it switches the attack and defense of every monster, every face-up effect monster on the field. And this effect is permanent and can be used in damage step. So what ends up happening is that when you're attacking, when an enemy Caius, for example, is attacking one of these monsters, Caius has 1,000 defense. So these guys all can run over a Caius. They can run over Shura. They can run over Bora.
Wings, yeah.
They can run over even Armed Wings. They can run over Greffers. They can run over basically almost every monster in this format, at least relevant monsters. It also matters when you're dealing with duplocks. You think, oh, that guy has a 2,000 booty. I can attack, use Inverse Universe, and now that's 100 defense, and it dies.
It's also huge that it vacate when you use it. It's permanent and it vacates a spot in your spell and
Exactly.
trap because this deck. If you keep drawing cards and your back
Yeah,
goes
you
all
start
clogged,
losing. Exactly. So this is the reason why we like both Forbidden Chalice and Inverse Universe is that it immediately is active. You can like just use it. Sometimes you even set it preemptively, not even having a monster yet. Just knowing that when you do draw a monster, you can immediately activate it, clear up that back row. And just having a 2K beater that keeps drawing you cards is absolutely insane. And to help facilitate this deck and also deal with your weird choices you have, I do run my classic triple set, my 7 continuous trap lineup, which is the triple limit reverse, triple Phoenix Chain, and one Call of the Haunted. All of these cards can get every single one of these except Gale. And so during the end phase, you can activate Limit Reverse to target any of these and then draw a card.
So good.
Which has been really, really strong. And on top of that, Limit Reverse has another bonus effect that you can, if you are clogging your back row and stuff, you can just put the monster to defense, pops the Limit Reverse on the spot, and then you can start setting stuff up again. So sometimes you do end up having to do that, but you also have Magic Planners to help deal with these clogged Phoenix Chains and Call the Haunteds. Another card that is really good in this deck as well is actually the Gold Sarcophaguses, because you end up drawing, like I said, you have to keep using cards that can be active immediately. You can just activate Gold Sark, that immediately gets rid of one card in your hand, and then later, after you draw like 3 cards, you're also adding back like a Solemn or you're adding a tuner that you need, and that allows for you to keep going. We have Dark Bribe because it's a control deck we need, and it's been the more newer addition to the deck. I didn't actually have him in the replays, but I do think Dark Bribe is a must pick in this deck. You don't mind if your opponent has cards because you're out tempoing them usually. Giant Tornado just synergizes with all these continuous traps and also just helps you get through back row and is immediately active as a card. MST, same thing, just you need MST, it's awesome. And now you just have standard defense, triple D prison, double bottomless, mirror force, no torrential, we need our monsters to stick for us to do anything. Solemn Judgment, and Starlight Roads. So that is the core idea of the deck. Summon this bad boy with a bunch of back row. If they think they can deal with it, or they think, oh, I can get around D prison, I can get around whatever. And no one deals with Inverse Universe. It's just such a freaking surprise card. You'll see it in a lot of these duels that we have, how strong this card is. Even if you don't think this deck is like that strong, I want a lot of people to really consider what Inverse Universe can do in this format, because this permanent effect is nuts. Imagine this in Frogs. You can make a bunch of dupes just be 2K. Like, who knows?
And you'll see that this deck is strong. If you can get the Cyber Archfiend set up and resolve its effect more than once, it's like you almost automatically win the game. It's just too much plus.
So me and Declan are going to show you a couple really cool DB. We never usually do DB, but I'm also never usually at a local. Today I am at a local, but like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll show you some of these cool replays. I didn't have enough time to actually play these in person, but we wanted to get this out before the new year. So enjoy these DB replays of Cyber Archfiend Control. Okay, everybody. So we over here at Team Starlight are not usually using Dueling Book, but if you guys end up liking this type of content, please let us know in the comments. We're just gonna show a couple really cool replays that we have. That I took it into the ranked ladder, and here with me I got another Team Starlight member, Declan.
What is up?
Yo, okay, so check this out, Declan. I'll play it on fast forward and I'll pause when anything really crucial happens, and let me know if you want to pause if you're like if you have any questions about what's going on, okay?
Gotcha.
So yeah, this first game I believe is against that new Blackwing hybrid build that actually won like an RBT or something, or like the YCS, I forget. So actually right off the bat, in my original builds of this deck, I did test one Prideful Roar. In testing, it was like kind of a cool gimmicky defensive card or offensive. You can use it in either way, but I think the life points that you lose ultimately just was too much, so I cut it, and in exchange for like Dark Bribe. So you can try it too at home, but and I think it does cook here, but like in general in my testing, it usually wasn't that good. So
there's plenty of battle trick cards in this deck already.
Yeah.
Ooh, but it gets Shura into Gale.
It's not a phenomenal opening, but I have the combination of Inverse Universe here. He does go for the into 4 back row, goes for the Black Rose, so that was kind of nice. And then the damage step trick happens here. I said calc, so here's another thing too. It's only damage step. It really didn't matter initially here. Like, it's not, if he had Kalute, he would just use Kalute, and we can show his hand for a second. He didn't have Kalute, so it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, you're supposed to say damage step. You can only use traps and spells in damage step unless they specifically say damage calc, like Prideful Roar that specifies that. But otherwise, yeah, just say step. You can use it in step. Okay.
And that's huge for this deck because it does mean sometimes you can get outgot by a Kalut that, you know, if the damage is lining up right.
Yeah, so it does matter. So anyway, let's continue. So I was able to draw a Cyber Archfiend. So now you'll see here we have both the Angel of Wisdom with 1700 permanent attack, a Stardust Dragon, and a Cyber Archfiend, and we're pretty insulated from like anything here. We have the Deep Prison, we have the Prideful Roar, and now we're just drawing so many cards in our standby phase.
+2.
Like draw phase, yeah, we just keep drawing. He has to banish like the Angel of Wisdom. He has to use like every single thing he has, but at this point I have 5 back row. Heavy Storm's gone. I'm drawing extra cards. And here, like, okay, so this is another cool part about the deck. Like, we have the Plague Spreader already set up, and I don't have any way to keep the Cyber Archfiend alive unless I want to just waste Forbidden Chalice. But I didn't want to, and I just felt like we could just start swinging in for big damage with Goyo, and we have the Chalice to insulate us from any, like, real set card. I didn't know he was playing a hybrid deck that runs Raikou here, but it ends up paying off, like, my play to hold the Chalice. So you'll see right here when it happens, I attack the Raikou. And during damage step, which should not be calc, should be step, we use the Chalice and we negate the Raikou effect. And now he just scoops because we had so much more tempo there.
Too much advantage, yeah. And once your Archfiend is already generated, like a +3, you can just sink it away, get a big monster, and then you just have big monster plus full back row.
Yeah, and here I have the Fiendish Chain because like I have the Fiendish Chain so I can stop this Lila. He tries to attack with the Kalut. We have the Deep Prison. It's just easy peasy, just simple stuff. He even had a skill drain set up, but then yeah, we just keep drawing it out. Here he does end up drawing into Sure the Blue Flame, but he doesn't search Kalut. So here during calc, I activate Prideful Roar, and that's where this is actually one of those few scenarios where it's good. But like if he had Kalut would still beat Prideful Roar because you can just chain it to like after the fact, and I think you have to pay. Like it's Prideful Roar, if it beat Kalut would be worth running, but it doesn't beat Kalut. Like I don't believe it does, so that's why I stopped running it. But either way, it beats this Shura because for some reason this dude searched a Bora. I don't know why, but hey, you know, that's what happens sometimes. And here, so you see here, we just keep drawing so many things. One of the downsides of this deck is that if you draw too many monsters, you're kind of boned, but he actually does me a favor and gets rid of my own Cyber Archfiend for me. So
yeah,
like,
that's huge.
He didn't know
it was gonna die.
Yeah, he didn't know it was gonna die, but now we have the Stardust with the Mirror Force in the back because he heavy stormed. We're just fully in the driver's seat here. But he still has that Whirlwind up, so like it's not impossible for him to like he can still come back here. But yeah. The Chalice also has that secondary effect of negating effects. He summons the Blizzard, tries to summon out Ashura. Forbidden Chalice comes out. He just can't do anything. This is just too strong on board. We have the Plague Spreader follow-up to make like anything to get rid of this Blizzard. We'd probably make Brio and then just bounce it and then go for game. So
yeah, you can see that he had, even though he had Whirlwind and you weren't able to out it, you were generating just as much plus as he was having a Whirlwind, you know, floating on the field because you had all these back row to interrupt plays. Yeah. And yeah, if you can just resolve multiple of these guys' effects per duel, it's hard for any deck to beat that amount of advantage.
Yeah, for this next duel, I'll slow it down a little bit. I feel like we're not seeing like the standby phases as much, but like it's really just a simple effect though. Like this one draws in standby, this one draws an extra one in draw phase. So that's why I have so many cards that I'm drawing. So on to the next one. So this next one I want to say is against Lightsworn. So we'll actually just go play by play for a little bit here.
Okay, yeah. So starting off with the Solar Recharge, already a good sign for the Lightsworn player.
So
but just pass.
Yeah, he just passed. He didn't really have anything, I guess. But in this scenario, like because we have 2 monsters, like we can never fully commit. And I don't want to fully commit setting every single thing we have because we don't have the Starlight Road or a Solemn or Dark Bribe to really protect us. But here with like 1700 defense, it could survive like most monsters in this format. Not all of them, but we do have the Bottomless anyway. So this would probably end up living. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. He heavy storms. I'm so glad I did not summon everything. But then he has a JD. JD is already live within like the first hand. I just immediately scooped. It was just too much. I think he milled a wolf in end phase.
Like clutch. Yeah.
Here, once again, we drew too many monsters. We have 3 monsters. We're not going to get that immediate value out of Cyber Archfiend.
And here I kind of make a misplay. I don't think I should have made Armor Master. I think I should just attacked with both, but I think it's because I knew Cyber Archfiend was going to die anyway. But here he has JD live again, but this time we finally have the Starlight Road. We have the Cyber Archfiend online here. I attack, no fear of Gores. I don't know why I'm not afraid of Gores, but he does have Trag. Okay, so right there.
Can we talk about how this guy had a live JD like on turn 2, like both games? Like this time he had the road though, so
no, yeah, thankfully.
house.
So you saw the Gold Sark there. So Gold Sark, I ended up sarking for a Solemn Judgment just because I think if you already have the monsters, you just sark for like what is just power cards, and I think Solemn Judgment's easily one of the best power cards here. So in this scenario, you see like the issue I'm having though is that my field, I can't get rid of this Trag with like Inverse Universe, but I can get rid of it with Fiendish Chain. And then my goal is to also unclog my back row so I can set everything and still keep Cyber Archfiend alive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Fiendish Chain the Trag, make it 0 attack, run it over. The Fiendish Chain will destroy itself, and then I have 3 free back rows. And that's going to be exactly what I do. So yeah, we Fiendish Chain it, attack, it's gone. He's taking 25. Now he's out of JD range. He cannot JD us anymore. And then we are able to trap Dust Shoot him. We'll show the hand now. His hand is pretty good, but like it's kind of a hard choice here because he has the Monster Reincarnation. Like there's a lot of different scenarios here. I think that ultimately I decided that like Armageddon Knight is the only reason, the only way you can make Dark Armed live, and Armageddon Knight could also send Plague Spreader or something and allow for him to do some shenanigans. And I don't want to have to Solemn Judgment like a Brio play. So I just decided to target the Armageddon Knight. I think the Honest is another good option, but I'm also like not as afraid of losing my Cyber Archfiend, or I could just Judgment one of them, but we'll see when it. Yeah, so I choose the Armageddon Knight, and I have to kind of Solemn that, and then he just Monster Incarnations the JD. I kind of could have just waited for him like to pop a card, but I was so afraid of him popping like Solemn, and then he just summons it. Like I don't know. I just thought like, it's just, I think we can beat this JD. He doesn't know what I have.
Yeah, because you have Road Set, you have Stardust, he can't attack with it, and so you're just waiting to draw like a tuner or a type of back row that'll allow you to out this card.
Yeah, and I drew Deep Prison, but I don't think he's ever going to attack. He sees 5 back row. This guy's like, I need this thing to stick for me to like win, so he's just going to keep doing that for a while. Just keeps milling. I keep drawing. I Inverse Universe immediately because I need to clear my own space here so I can get this Limit Reverse off, but I don't really have great targets. Unfortunately, Gale's a little too big for Limit Reverse, but at this point, I'm literally just looking to draw into like Plague Spreader or like some... This is also why I added Smashing Ground to the build later, because sometimes you just want that like immediate out to just big dudes, and I think Smashing Ground is definitely a card you probably want to try using. So yeah, we just flipping our attacks, setting more stuff, but here I'm going to draw a ton. I immediately bottomless because I'm just like, this bottomless is not going to get much value, and I'm about to draw so many cards, so I should definitely just do it. Here I'm just trying to
deck in. We got the ruling in the chat as well.
Oh yeah,
that you can. You went +3 that turn. Yeah, you resolved 3 of them.
Exactly, and it's the only ruling on EdisonFormat.com that like it's the only ruling he has. If you have multiple Cyber Archfiends on the field during the draw phase, their effects form a chain, so you can have multiple draws. So you just I start plussing. I even Magic Planner away. This field is just looking pretty unbeatable at this point, and he's gonna deck out if he doesn't do something about it. So, yeah.
Thankfully, you drew the MST to out that decree.
Oh yeah,
which would have been a problem.
it's like I draw either MST or I draw Plague and I win that duel. So it's like I just need to see one or the other. So there was like, so anyway, he scoops after seeing the second Starlight Road come out. He's not happy about it. Just scoops immediately. And now we see Breaker. I do side Breakers. I think Breakers are going to be really important in this deck because as an out to Road Decree, which is, you see he does have Road Decree in his hand. I can unshow the hand, but at this point I'm committed to showing you the hand. So yeah, so I'm able to out the Decree, run over the he took way too much. Run over the Lumina, and then just set 5. And I don't even think I have a Starlight Road here, but I think I've scared him enough with Starlight Road that I have the mind game here. But like I don't think he wants to have to heavy.
Yeah, also he set the decree, so like if he had heavy, maybe he doesn't
Oh, sorry, I'm so dumb. He milled
heavy.
Oh,
he milled it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Otherwise, I definitely would never do this. I'm going insane. Okay, cool. We have so much back row. It's pretty insulated by the fact that Heavy Storm's gone. Road Decree. One of the Road Decrees are gone. He does have this Lila. I think I'm like nervous about the Lila, but we do have the Phoenix Chain to stop it targeting some of our better back row. He just goes for attack with Lila instead of using its effect. Definitely don't do that. You should definitely like just uses the effect. He
Force
just
out the
he
Fiendish Chain, yeah.
he foolishes. I draw Soul Release. At this point, we're gonna start taking some damage, unfortunately, from this wolf. It's not feeling great. I kind of have no choice but to Fiendish it. I do MST and end phase. I Soul Release immediately. I'm not letting him have any JDs be live. He just MSTs the Fiendish just so he can get more damage in, but I did draw the D prison, so now we're just in a top decking war. He has the card trooper here. I'm gonna take 19 to the face. I just need a monster. I draw a monster. It's not the one I want to see. If this was Cyber Archfiend, this would have been so much better. He just draws a couple cards. Here we finally got Cyber Archfiend, and then damage step, I'm able to use the Chalice. He doesn't believe it. It's like, yo, that's how it works. So now we have this big boy out here. I have him with Gale, and since I already have a Limit Reverse, I decided to go for Armor Master because I can just get this back. So I get this back in his end phase, so I get the draw phase draw. So I'm able to use Cyber Archfiend's effect, draw for turn, draw an extra card, draw for turn, and I draw a Kaiku, which is like so clutch.
Yeah, and drawing the magic planner so you can convert this when the time is right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just this exactly what this deck's doing exactly what it wants to do. I love Armor Master in this deck because Armor Master is one of the few extra deck monsters that doesn't really care about Inverse Universe because it won't get destroyed by battle anyways, and it doesn't take any battle damage. So yeah, I really like Armor Master in this deck. I think he's really fun. Gale in general just feels also really good for dealing with monsters. So yeah, here we just start swinging. Attack him for 18. He's like really upset about that, but get rid of both his boss monsters. I decided to use the Magic Planner immediately because like I know I can draw mostly traps, and then yeah, he just scoops. He draws a Road Decree, but at this point his grave is completely unset up. He has a dead JD, he has a Cold Wave and a Decree. He has no choice but to just set the Honest. And I think in end phase I was just gonna call the Haunted back, the Cyber Archfiend.
Soul Release.
Yeah, Soul Release is a good card.
Was really good because it's similar to Smashing Ground where you can just play it.
Yeah,
and it vacates a spot, and it was really clutch here to make the JD dead. I mean, I don't know if he had 4 before that, but he would have been close, I think.
Yeah, I think he was really close. I think I had to banish like 4 of them. I think I banished 4 names.
Yeah.
Like,
So it would have been, that was a huge Soul Release.
Yeah.
He had Cold Wave JD.
So I think Soul Release is a must pick in the side deck just because like what Declan said, it clears, it doesn't clog up a space. And I also think Transmigration Prophecy is in the same boat.
And you can't play Crow. It goes without being said.
Yeah, you can't. Like as much as you think like, no, yeah, we'll use Crow. Like no, forcing yourself to use Crow on the spot, like it's not good. It doesn't feel good. So yeah, so that's the second replay against Lightsworns. You ready for the final replay that we have to show the people?
Yes.
So this final replay, I believe, is against just standard Blackwings. So, yeah, let's see. Let me turn off. Oh yeah, let's just have it on this. So I'm gonna keep it more mystery. So in this particular build, I was testing, instead of Summoner Monk, I was testing Mystic Tomato. It's really a matter of preference of what you think fits your playstyle the best, or like how slow it feels. Like Mystic Tomato in theory is really good because you could set it and set 5 back row, and then if they attack it, you can summon Cyber Archfiend, draw an extra card in your draw phase. Sangan is probably better in general. I probably think Sangan is probably the best one because it can search your tuners, and it is also a limit reverse target. So that's another reason why I think Sangan might be the better play, but it's hard to say because like it's just so many different options you can have. But
yeah,
please,
Monk is cool though.
Monk is cool
because you can make like Arcanite with Gale, and also it allows you to do the thing on turn 1 where you just are immediately threatening the Cyber Archfiend play on turn 1.
And that's
why you
why
happen to draw.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like about Sangan. It just felt too slow, I just wanted to. And same thing with Tomato, but like at the same time, you need more monsters so that you're not just only drawing traps and doing nothing. But anyway, so we have the. I decided to set 5. This is like really ballsy. I didn't have a Starlight Road, but I don't know. I felt like he was a good player, that he wasn't just gonna play into it. And even then, like if he does have it, he has it. Like I can't do anything about it. But now we're just swinging with this Tomato for a little bit here, just constantly setting. He giant True Nades, which is like okay, I was not expecting that, but. I'm not like super upset about it because I have a Mystic Tomato here, and I'm just like F it, like let me get this. I can get a crash here and then summon Cyber Archfiend. The Cyber Archfiend unfortunately is like dead right now, but I do have the ability to call the Haunted it back and now turn on my magic planners and stuff, or I can limit reverse. He just keeps searching a bunch of stuff though. I decided to call the Haunted with Mystic Tomato to get like a plague, and here I just attack multiple times. And then synchro off, spade out whatever back row that is. Magic Planner away. Now I have all this like pretty crazy back row, and I decide like I don't have Starlight. I finally drew Starlight Road, but I'd rather just have Stardust. He draws the Gale, which is like, that's kind of rough. But yeah, but now you saw there, the reason why I decided to go for that Plague play was because it put me at 0 cards in hand and allowed for Cyber Archfiend to be super live again. It's not.
So you get that card back, and then you have the Stardust protecting your board.
Yeah, which feels a
with
lot
the-
better. Yeah, we have so much like we had so many ways to stop any attack in the Stardust, and this Stardust is made not from Starlight Road finally, so it will like get its attack back here if it ever negates anything. So that's kind of cool. So yeah. So here.
Okay, so I think he attacked, or you attacked, and then damage step
Yeah.
activated. Yeah, inverse universe.
Yeah, and I was telling him that his attack would be 400, so in damage step he actually takes 16, and that damage is gonna matter. It's like the more damage the better. I attack with Stardust here because I have Starlight Road, so I'm like actually like if he gets rid of Stardust, like I'd rather put him out of brain control range. And then in end phase, unfortunately, Cyber Archfiend has to die, but thankfully that also clears out the Limit Reverse. And I believe I have another Limit Reverse. No, I don't, but I have the Stardust Dragon with hella back row. I feel like that's better than nothing, and I don't know. I really don't know what he can top deck at this point. Probably that. That's not a terrible top deck. I do have the Fiendish Chain for it. He doesn't search like a Vayu. Maybe he doesn't have it more than one. I mean, he does already have a Vayu in the grave, so I think it may be the only one he has. But yeah, we Fiendish Chain. We're able to Fiendish Chain the Blizzy, which is great. And here we finally draw Agent of Wisdom, and we have, I believe, we have no way to actually use it, but now it at least lets us start deck thing a little bit. And the Agent of Wisdom, in my opinion, is like, it's worse than Cyber Archfiend because it has worse stats, but it's better because it doesn't die, you know? And I think that I think he's a little bit nicer to see early game, especially, or late game, especially, because sometimes it just feels like you just don't have a monster presence, but this guy, he just sticks around, which is great. Yeah, so here's just drawing. Summons out a freaking Bora, but we have a lot of really strong back row here, and he can't really stop any of our plays. He just keeps refusing to attack. In standby phase, I get the effect of the Agent of Wisdom, Mercury, and I draw the Gale, which is huge because that's going to allow for us to win this game on the spot here, because I can synchro off into a Armor Master and just like see if I can get this attack through. And unfortunately, he had nothing to stop that with. So maybe I think he had Icarus attack in the back. I probably should have just showed you, but I think it was Icarus. And he could never really use that because of the Stardust. So it's like kind of a bad position for him to be in, you know?
Yeah, this you saw again going toe to toe with Black Whirlwind. Even though you didn't out it, you're just gaining just as much advantage as he was.
Yeah, the Gale, seeing Gale, he had Icarus attack here. I kind of had to read that it might be an Icarus attack, so I definitely just was like, this summoning of Gale is gonna go crazy here, because you have the alternate option of just setting the Archfiend. It has a big booty and setting a bunch of back row, but I was like, I feel like that's Icarus, and I'd rather have my back row like already up. So here I'm able to Fiendish Chain his Blizzard. He decides like he sees this back row, and I think he's afraid of Starlight Road. He doesn't use Icarus. I feel like he should have used Icarus here, but like I don't know. Maybe he's just so afraid of it. Like, and now I'm able to Giant Trunade, get this Fiendish Chain back. But he does chain Dust Tornado. I would have just chained Icarus. Like, I don't understand. So yeah, I'm having the attack. I attack. Maybe he has Kalut. I don't know why else he wouldn't just Icarus, but yeah, he decides not to. He's super afraid of a potential Starlight Road, I think. So that's the only thing I can think about. If he was so afraid, I would have sided them out, you know?
Yeah.
Here,
But
so-
that's what gives you a pretty good matchup, is that you can just have multiple Starlight Roads, which is a house against Black Wings in general.
yeah. So here at the end phase, we dust, and we have no cards in hand in draw phase. We're going to draw an extra card here. Bada bing, bada boom. We draw Breaker, which is so great. It allows for this Gale to become an Arcanite Magician. And if he has a bottomless, it sucks. But look at these back rows. In Icarus, it's a Mirror Force. Like, it's just such a great card. And we're able to put Cyber Archfiend in defense here too, which is really great. So yeah, with Breaker, I'm able to just pop a back row. It ends up being the Mirror Force. I just attack because like Mirror Force is gone. He didn't torrential me. Let's just go swing in. Even if it's deep prison, I'd rather just keep the Gale alive. But it wasn't. So I'm like, okay, Arcanite time. And Arcanite is even better in this deck because with Inverse Universe, it becomes the 1800 beater at the end after you use its effect. So I actually think Arcanite's like super nuts. And I've considered actually main decking like a Breaker or two just because Arcanite's just that good. Here he summons out Sirocco the Dawn. We have the bottomless trap hole for that. And at this point, like, he doesn't really have any. I want to keep him off dad. I want to keep him off stuff. I draw an extra card. We draw the inverse universe. That's going to be so clutch. Both of these guys are going to be huge. Now we just swing in for 1,400 total.
2,400, yeah. I think your break.
Oh,
your guy still
14.
has a counter.
Oh, yeah, he still has a counter. You're right. It's 24 total. And then I'm just setting everything I got here. Even if he heavy storms me, I can chain the inverse universe and it permanently makes them big. And then I can keep drawing cards because I don't know what else he's going to do. Here it's like pretty clear he probably has a Kalut or something, or not, or maybe he has an Icarus. It's a Deep Prison instead. But yeah, I get an extra draw again. I drew an MST, which is crazy. So I decided like I think I should just MST this. Oh, I don't even MST it. Why don't I MST it? I feel like MST was better
You
there.
use the Arcanite.
Oh, because I realized I could just hold the MST later. Yeah. And the duel is over. Once I inverse universe, he's at 1,000. He doesn't have a clue in hand. He had the dad. I kept him off dad, which is pretty great. By bottomlessing the Sirocco, and yeah, that was it. We kind of just destroyed them there. Cyber Archfiend just kept giving us so many pluses. You saw it when it stuck for more than one turn. It was plussing like multiple times. It's kind of like Des Lakuta in like Pac-Man, where you just, if it sticks, you're gonna keep drawing cards. But it's a little bit better than Des Lakuta because it's actually like a beat stick when Inverse Universe is out. But even without Inverse Universe, like 1,000 is still like, it's 2,000 booty is big, and like, so like they can't just deal with it. Like they can't just like run it over. They have to like try to use actual effects to get rid of it, and you have a lot of ways to stop it. So yeah, that's Cyber Archfiend Control. A lot of interesting stuff. You saw why like Chalice makes sense in this deck. Chalice also has a doubling effect of like keeping your Archfiend alive sometimes. Every single.
It's great in the Vayu matchup as well, which we didn't get to see here, but I can imagine how like Raikou is the only problem for this deck. In a lot of cases, to retaining your Archfiend and being able to Chalice in the damage step, huge against that matchup.
Yeah, so that was obviously our first Dueling Book playthrough. I kind of was a little too fast in the first one. Let me know in the comments if you prefer the really fast speed plays or just play by play. We're new to this, but you know, we love hearing what you guys have to say in the comments, and let me know what you think about this deck, this brand new jank deck. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's not that great yet, but I think there's some potential here. So you
definitely cooked, Marcos, but hopefully we get validated in the chat.
There's just gonna be a bunch of people in the chat that are like, "This deck sucks." But anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year. Enjoy this jank, and that's Team Starlight signing off.
Goodbye.